Yippee Friday, Broncos country. We're about a week away from the start of Denver Broncos minicamp, and we get some bizarre news about a player that Sean Payton has given the bag to and is bringing in as an undrafted free agent who does not fit the mold of the high-character Eagle Scout type player that he has gotten all offseason long. What does that mean? We also get some news about a player position group that you would expect to have loaded up at minicamp that we have zero of. What does that mean as well? We're breaking all that down and more in this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the YouTube algorithm out a ton if you like the Broncos, if you would like and subscribe. Amazing article here by Sire Bettinger, who talked about one of the weirdest things going into minicamp next week is the Broncos just went out and they gave money to 15 undrafted free agents. And you would think that because the Broncos have not had a 100-yard rusher since the 2022 season with Latavius Murray, you would think that of all years in all time that the Broncos would go out and find an undrafted rookie running back. Like, this is the year, the deepest running back class in NFL history, many scouts are calling it that. And the Broncos have a really storied past of finding great undrafted running backs, even when the running back classes weren't as deep as they were this year. And so it is very, very bizarre to me. And I think it is the perfect sign that the Broncos have a crazy amount of trust in Audric Estime and in RJ Harvey and even Jaleel and Blake Watson and Bidet and all of that. I think Sean Payton feels way better about this running back room and that RJ Harvey was the key to that. And he feels great about what he has. But we had thought of all off seasons, this would be the one that you could just find running backs in the dozens. When George Payton came out and said that in the NFL draft, he was expecting to get a running back and you could find several of them from 2 to 6. A lot of people were predicting the Broncos were actually going to draft multiple running backs in this year's NFL draft, kind of like teams have drafted multiple quarterbacks. We saw the Browns do it. If it's a position of need, you might as well try to get more fishing rods in the water if you could. And I think it is a very, very telling sign that the Broncos did not bring in or even sign another running back. And I think it is all because they actually totally believe in Audric Estime. About the exact same time that the report came out in the Denver Post that Audric Estime's camp and his agent had been reached out to multiple times during the offseason and reassured that the Broncos still had a tremendous amount of faith in him. He drops this video on Twitter. So this was April 6th. So just a couple days before the draft. And you see like him put out this tweet being like, hey, it's almost time to really spin. He is feeling insanely hyped about this year to come. And I just have to think in my mind that there has to be more to that story of why he was benched before that game against the Buffalo Bills, because I really think Sean Payton has a tremendous amount of faith in him. And the evidence for that is the fact that we don't have any undrafted free agent running backs that we brought in. And all we did was get RJ Harvey. And so I think you're going to see a huge jump in carries this year for Audric Estime. And we're actually going to finally get a chance to see what is going on there. And I can't wait till like 15, 20 years down the line when we actually get to hear the whole story of why did we not see Audric Estime in that final game. It could have been an off-field. Like, I don't want to speculate any of that stuff, but there just has to be way more to that story because he is an absolute beast, and we saw it all year long from people on the Hill watching him in training camp to one of the best games ever. This was the game that we lost on a blocked field goal, but Audric Estime looked like he could be a bell cow back, and then all of a sudden you just stopped seeing him get the ball like he had before. I don't know if there was drama with Javonte or what it was, but there just has to be more to the story because I still think Audric Estime is definitely going to be one of the horses in this stable, and RJ Harvey and him are going to be a wild 1-2 punch. And then knowing that you got Jaleel as a change of pace back, I think our running back room is going to go from one of the worst in the NFL to the best, just giving Audric more carries, and then obviously seeing what we have in the tank with RJ Harvey as well. Other thing here, like there's been a lot of videos floating around about Omarion Hampton and how good he looks working out in clothes like this. And I just wanted to remind you like how good Audric Estime looked about a year ago. This time looks very similar to what the Chargers ended up drafting at 22nd and have to pay way more than we have to pay any of our running backs because we got them so late. And so don't jump off of the Audric Estime bandwagon because I still think it's going a far, far distance this year, and you're going to want to wish that or hope that you didn't hop off. All right, so now looking at the bizarre news here, and this is the news, and it could be an absolute steal and a move that we are just thanking our lucky stars that we have, or it could just be like one of those very, very weird signs. So this is a list of our preferred free agent signings. These are our undrafted free agents that you actually gave more money than just the minimum to. And typically when that happens, those are the players the Broncos end up signing. And it's a way to lure them to you because they maybe would have gone to another team. And this is the name here. The guy who got the most money is Clay Webb. Now, very, very interesting story with Clay Webb. You were looking at a guy who was a top recruit coming out of high school. He actually went to the University of Georgia and he redshirted a year and he was playing center and guard for the University of Georgia. He fits the exact part. He is 6'3", 312 pounds. He was invited to the NFL Combine. You actually look at his player prospect grade on NFL.com versus who our starting center, Luke Wattenberg, is, and they rate him as a better player than our starting center right now. And so it's pretty amazing to me that we were able to get him. Now, the weird part of this signing here with our new center who's going to be attending mini camps is that he's actually in the middle of a federal investigation and a federal lawsuit regarding a incident with bullying, and the details are just horrific and we won't even go into them, but it stems all the way back to when he was in high school and just like a prank gone absolutely awry, and he's kind of involved in that. But to me, if he can move past that, and if we are not judging a 17-year-old on something that he did when he was, a 17, 16-year-old kid in high school, this could be an absolute steal because everyone in the pre-draft lead-up he got invited to the Combine. He ran the 40. He was at senior day going against Walter Nolan, looking kind of like he's holding his own. And you're looking at a player that if he did not have that off-the-field stuff with a prank that was disgusting that he did in high school, you could see a world where there were mocks saying that he really should be a early day 3 pick, not a guy who's going undrafted that the Broncos just got to pick up for nothing. And really, if you take a look at the Broncos have Zach Strief, a former offensive lineman for Sean Payton, as their offensive line coach, and I think he is going to get him in great shape and help hopefully help mentor him and all of that kind of stuff. But just a very bizarre thing, as we've seen Sean Payton really prioritize high character things and really stay away from players who have off the field stuff. That's some off the field drama, but I think the Broncos could benefit from it. And something that happened 7 years ago, because he was a 6-year college player, I think doesn't weigh as heavily as, something like a domestic violence thing. But let me know in the comments, as you are preparing for NFL mini camps, just starting on May 9th, who are you most excited to see rocking the Broncos orange and blue? Still waiting on numbers. And I'm curious in the comments, let me know, what is the first rookie jersey that you want to buy? Like, what are you adding to your list? Is it RJ Harvey? Is it Jahdae Barron? Is it Pat Bryant? I think a 13 Bryant jersey could look pretty sick. I'm also hyped on RJ Harvey, and I'm going to get my son a Jahdae Barron jersey just because it looks awesome. But we don't know what number yet, so we're going to check all that out. But Broncos country, we've got a ton to believe in.